Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. Hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the white pieces against a 2003 playing knight to f3. And they go ahead and copy us with knight f6. I guess we play d3 and look for our King's Indian attack structure, which is the whole point of us playing f3, so it makes sense somewhat, I guess. They're going for the queenside fianchetto. So probably just e4. Just kill that straight away. Yeah, I think works. With the d6 as well. So there, I don't even know what this is. Sorry about that, folks. Queen's Indian, maybe? I don't really know what the Queen's Indian is. But I think it's something similar to this. They go for c5 as well. So this is very much Sicilian stuff, which is at least somewhat a bit more familiar. And the bishop has definitely gone to b7, so there's no risk of any pins after they play e5. Let's castle. And carry on. I guess, carry on. Oh god. My throat is not happy today. Let's play h4. I don't see why not. With the usual idea of going knight h2 to knight g4. And getting this knight in. So both the knights are on the king side, ready for a kingside attack. Is the main purpose of playing h4. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Is the main purpose of playing h4. They could reroute their bishop through c8. It is unlikely because they've played two moves to get the bishop here. So it's unlikely that they would do that. I don't think it would be bad, but it's psychologically is it's a weird thing to play. They've gone knight back, probably looking for f5. So we could potentially play f4 ourselves. It's a bit risky, but not the most insane thing we've ever done. Definitely not the most insane thing we've ever done. And that would mean, actually no, we can't do that because it would mean taking back with the pawn, which we need to defend h4. So we can't actually do that. Yeah, so they look for f4, which is really interesting. Maybe we could think about bishop h3 and look for the check and place the bishop on d5 where it's a bit more active. Is a possibility. And it also sort of prevents f5 happening straight up. So maybe I don't hate that. And there's no d5 because they've blocked off their queen as well. So I don't actually mind bishop h3. With the ideas of controlling e6 and f5. I don't mind it. It might be a bit weird, but I think it makes some element of sense. Very rare to find sense in my games. But by the way, we're playing 15 plus 10. So we've got increment. And we've got more time. So hopefully the time trouble, like we saw yesterday, is no longer going to be a massive factor. Because missing several mates is not where I want to be in regards to my chess. So this is good. They've gone king h8. Really? What is the purpose of king h8? That's something I don't really understand. I guess. I don't even know. I really don't even know. Just, you're scared of the check, but the check's not really a threat. We'll continue. We'll continue doing what we do. I think it's best for now. This knight wasn't doing much. Maybe it could have gone to c4, but there are so many things that control everything, so I don't think that's happening. It's better on the king side. Yeah, so they've sort of wasted two moves there. I say this isn't really wasted. If they're looking to genuinely play f5, then this would not be a wasted move. They start play. Oh no! I don't even know what happened there. I didn't think I clicked it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I don't think it's a horrible move, to be fair, but it's not a move I wanted to play for sure. I was saying they're playing on the queen side, which is a bit weird. I mean, it is generally the plan, but if you've prepared a f5 and played king h8, surely you're looking to play more in the center, more on the king side. So this is sort of switching directions a bit. Maybe a4 is not stupid here, but we would definitely need to have some better control of the dark squares. a4 is forcing them to make a decision at least. If they take, I probably take. Then just put the rook on b1 and control that. And if they move things over to the side, then we claim they have less defense. You know, I think is reasonable. Alternatively, like a bishop g5, sort of prompting takes, with like a queen h5, but the knight does just come back and covers the h pawn. So maybe just bishop takes is also potentially a possibility. Am I worried about a4? Am I worried about a4 is a question. For sure it's a question. I think we would just take that though, right? I don't think we're worried because we would just take. Yeah. I think we would just take. They take with the rook, I think we're just happy. Well, not unhappy anyway. We have a rook b1 if we need to hit the bishop. Or even like a queen b3 going after this pawn potentially. So I think we can actually ignore that. For now, at least. This bishop g5 idea, I think deserves looking at in more detail. Maybe we could think about going h5, h6. We're not really making any real weaknesses by them playing g6 though. Right? That's not... We haven't got the facilities to actually infiltrate on those squares, especially if we're plugging h6. So maybe we continue developing. But where's this developing getting us? Maybe we could go to f5 to d5 with this knight. I think it's probably the more reasonable solution. And the knight does cover f6 as well, if this knight decides to go back. We are blocking our bishop. Yeah, for sure we are. Maybe I should have considered that a bit better. Maybe I should have considered that a bit more. Okay. Okay. I don't think we have any crazy ideas of knight h6. I don't think that's sensible. They decide to actually go for f5. If we take, they get the attack on the knight, which isn't ideal. But also they don't have it straight away, so we do actually have a bit of time. So rook takes, we go. We could even go... We go knight e3. We get a tempo on the rook. The rook goes back, and then we sit in d5 and push c2. I think we have to take, right? I think we have to take. We can't let them get f4 in. And then we move back. And you could claim we're backtracking, but I would call it repositioning. I would call it repositioning. So we'll go to d5. I don't think there's any worthwhile discoveries here, because we can take their bishop if we really need to, or we could play c4 as well. The knight's covered by the queen, which is good. They decide to go there. Now I could alternatively take this. So they go for the discovered attack. The thing is, I take this, they take that. What are they doing? Right? What are they doing? We go potentially even c4. There's no meaningful attack here. A, because the knight covers, and B, because the queen covers. So we push c4. They take. The bishop goes back. Then we even have threats of a fork as well, which is really nice. So I'm going to take the knight. I'm going to take the knight, because the threats of the fork as well, really, really cool. I like that a lot. Plus c4, I think, is just nice. So yeah, I think we might be okay here. I think we could potentially be okay. Worst case, we go there straight away and trade off the bishop. I think we push c4 first to try persuade this bishop to move out of the way. It can stay on the diagonal, and then maybe we move in with the knight. And it could just be a trade. But then at least we get a really cool bishop. You know, we get a really, really cool bishop with a semi-open file for our queen to attack this backwards d-pawn. I think is cool. I think is cool. But yeah, we definitely shouldn't have allowed f5 to be played. I think that could be considered a mistake. They go for that. They go for, oh, what have we done? We lost that. There we go. They go for that. I will take the bishop, I guess. Leave us with the bishop pair. I don't think that's scary. I don't think bishop there is scary. It's a one move threat, really. Or we could just play c4. We could just play c4 alternatively. c4, they can just move the knight. You know, the knight, I mean, it probably goes to b6. No, it could go to f6. But then just takes. And we still can take the bishop. I mean, the bishop isn't going anywhere. The bishop isn't going anywhere. If they decide to take, then we have to take. And we lose a pawn, eventually. That's a fact. We will lose that pawn. So maybe we have to take and then go c4. Or maybe takes. Yeah, I think we have to take the bishop, right? This isn't scary. I'm not scared of this. Yet. I'm not scared of this yet. But they decide to take with the queen, which seems fine. We take, right? And double isolate their pawns. With the bishop pair, we can look to trade off. The queen can't go to e4. I think that's relatively okay, right? I think that's relatively okay. The knight can come in potentially, but I don't think that's the end of the world. I don't think that is the end of the world. Yeah. Then maybe look to trade off the bishop. Alternatively, maybe we could consider queen g4 if I can draw an arrow. But the knight does just move, so there is not really anything. Bishop g5, not really anything either. We could take, but then we have too many light squared weaknesses. So I think bishop g2 could be a way to go, at least. They have pawns locked on dark squares as well. So I think living with the dark squared bishop is a relatively okay idea. They still don't have any checks after we take with the king, by the way, which is fine. Fine for us. And we could go like bishop f4 if we need to. They decide to go knight there first. Which is threatening what exactly? You know, queen takes. Maybe that's a threat. That's actually a huge threat. Ooh, bishop takes, queen takes. How do you deal with knight there? Because the knight covers these two and the queen covers these two. So you would have to walk into a discovered attack. Which is, yeah, not nice. Knight takes, then you've got threats of queen g2. You could move up, but it's not where you want to be. Not where you want to be at all. So what do we do about that? What do we do about that? That's not nice. That's not nice at all. We can't go rook e1 because then the fork comes. Which isn't the end of the world, but it's, again, not particularly nice. Bishop g5. I mean, they just moved the queen and they're fine. Can we maybe just go like f3? That loses a pawn though. That's scary. Potentially very scary. Bishop f4 seems to temporarily fix the problem, at least because you're cutting off support from the rook, right? You're connecting your rooks as well, which can only be a good thing. And threatening to maybe even take the knight. So takes there. Maybe you can think about an f3. I think is fine. I think is fine. We'll play that. We will play that. I would also potentially like bishop e4. Maybe go queen h5 with the threat, but is not really amounting to anything, I don't think. I don't think. But at least, yeah, so they go for this. If they throw in the check, we play f3, right? I think we play f3. If we move anywhere, you're just inviting the same problem of the queen and the knight coming together on these four squares, which is not nice. So we have to play f3. Then maybe it could be worth taking the knight and saying, yes, this is a potentially weak pawn, but so is their e-pawn, you know? So we both have things, you know, that we both have some good, some bad. I don't know. I couldn't tell you who would be winning in that situation, though. They decide to go knight g4. So we can't take because of the pin. That's not really threatening anything. I don't know what the purpose of that is. We could take. Oh, we can't take because then we lose cover of the e-pawn, right? I don't see why we can't go king h3. They just go back. You know, if they go there again, we just take. We just take. So I don't see why we can't do king h3. They don't have time to load up a discovered because we can just take. Because we've unpinned ourselves. So I don't see why we can't. I guess you go there, go there, go there. And maybe you can claim that we don't actually have time to take the e-pawn. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. We don't actually have time to take e3. So we actually give them a pretty powerful passed pawn. I can see that being a reasonable threat. I can see that being a reasonable threat. So maybe we go queen. No, queen e2, we just get kicked out straight away. And that's not nice, right? That is not nice. So maybe queen d2. Queen d2, we could lose control of f3. Yeah. So, I mean, you go like... You go rook f1. I mean, they would just take, right? They would just take. You go queen there. They go there, right? And you go rook there. They can go queen there. And then all of a sudden you can't actually take this e-pawn, and they actually have time to play d5, d4, and completely lock that. And we're not happy. We're not happy one bit. So we have to just get this other rook in the game, right? They're not threatening this just yet. They're not threatening anything just yet, actually. They go rook there. Okay, then what? You know, then what? We go rook e1. Takes, queen takes. And then we get what we wanted, except they can't actually kick us out anymore. So let's go queen d2. Let's go queen d2 and see what happens. We are potentially diminishing some control of the f-pawn. But I think the benefit of getting all the rook in the game is definitely worth it. To control the e3 square, because that's the annoying one, right? That is the annoying thing we have to take care of. I think that they would try rook a to e8, right? I think they would try it. Maybe if we move our king out the way, we could think about taking this so they don't actually have d4, d5, d4. But again, we're just losing control of the e3 square. So I don't think it's something that can actually be done. Yeah, they go there and we'll match them. We'll match them. We can't let them take control. We just can't. I hate to say it, but we just can't. And maybe queen b6 could be considered. Oh, no, they can't because they move their queen, we take their knight, right? That's the whole point. They need their queen on the light squares. So that actually can't happen until they move their knight. Is rook takes viable? Probably not. I think now we can go king h3. Because they go there, we just take. Pawn takes, rook takes, right? And maybe we would lose control of the f-file, but also you have to remember we have some mating threats. We have back rank mating threats, right? So we go h3, knight there, bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes, queen takes. Yeah, so we can actually go h3 now. If they go knight there, I would probably just take this, right? Probably just take this. No, but then rook takes. No, they can't do that because of check. Oh, but then knight takes. Ah, but then we have queen e2 hitting both the knight and the rook. Wow. Oh, but they have a rook there. No, but then we have mate. Oh my gosh. What? What is happening? What is actually happening? Yeah, I think that weirdly works. Right, takes, pawn takes, rook takes, queen takes. And if they go back, we take. Rook takes, knight takes, queen e2. And they can't defend this. Yes, so we can actually go king h3. We can actually go king h3. And if they go knight there, eventually something else will cover the f-pawn, whether that's the rook or the queen. So that's all good. We have to start thinking about time, unfortunately. We have 1 minute and 40 left. 10-second increment, though, which is good. At least we have that. At least we have that. This is a really exciting game, though. I'm enjoying that. They go knight there. Okay, I didn't foresee that. I did not foresee that. Knight to e5. We could take. Takes, pawn takes. Then f4. Potentially. I think it's wise to trade off the knight. Whether f4 is an option is debatable. But I think it's wise to do that. Do they have any checks that are worthwhile? I don't think so. And they push, we just take. Right? We just take, I think. And trade off. So let's go f4. Let's go f4. I might end up regretting f4, but we're doing it now. I think it's probably worth it. We could have potentially actually gone rook e4 there. They check, which is, I'll say pointless. I think it probably has a point, maybe to defend this rook, but then you're losing potential control over e4 with the queen not on that diagonal anymore. I will. Oh, that's actually a good question. What do I do here? Takes, queen takes. Could potentially go rook there. We have to really, because they have check as well, which is annoying. So we'll go rook takes, I guess. I guess we go rook takes. We're running so low on time, I don't have time to properly calculate this out. We could take. Actually, yeah, we can do this because they can't take, right? Yeah, we can actually do this because they can't take. Which is really cool. And then we're threatening to double up. Yeah, I really like that. I really, really like that. They go there. I will threaten to double up. They can check, but we can block. And we've kept our pawn structure with this, which is nice. So we have the e-file for sure. Okay, what do we do? We'll block the check. We'll prematurely block the check. I don't mind this. I really don't mind this. Maybe we go queen e5 to hit a5. Maybe looking at a pin as well on the king. And then maybe even if we're feeling bold, rook e4 and go after this. I'll go king g2 just to get off the checks, maybe. I don't, maybe was unnecessary, but hey, we've done it. We've also walked into new checks, which is something we've definitely done, for sure. We can now confidently go rook c2 though, which I think is good. They go queen there. What are you threatening? I think I'll go rook c2 still. I think I'll go rook c2. They go queen there. threatening queen f1. Maybe I go to e2. Maybe I go to e2 just to be safe. They don't have a check. And we can think about c4. Going after that. Yeah, I actually don't... Oh, that was a mistake. Huge mistake. They have check. Ah. No, that was terrible. Oh, that was a terrible blunder. Oh my gosh. No. No, it's not good. It's not good. They've given up a pawn, though. Okay. That was horrendous. Yeah, that was really bad. That was, yeah, not good at all. Really not good. Okay, let's go there. Go to A8, I guess. The queen can just hit us straight away, though. Maybe go B5. They check that way. Yeah, that's something they can do for sure. They go take that. Okay. Well, I'll go after B4, I guess. They go C4. Would make sense. I don't think there's any coming back from this, to be honest. That sort of works, I guess. I think C4 was better, though. Ah, they just push that. Yeah, that makes some sense. At least. We'll go for that. They have check. Or they go for that, I guess. Yep. 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 Can we still make this at all? We'll try. You know, we'll try. They have so much time, though. Like, so much time. It's crazy. We get the pawn stuck, which is the first step to getting a stalemate, I guess. Probably should have gone H3, but I think that would have been mate either way. That is a shame. For sure, that is a shame. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I did that. I really don't know why I did that. But it was a fun game. It was a really fun game. It's hard to say who had the advantage. We will see what the grander computer says. But yeah. Apparently very, very even the entire game. Slightly better for for black at some point. But definitely when things got traded off, I think that's when it evened out. 83.0 versus 89.4. 2300 versus 2400. One blunder on the board. Okay, let's have a look at it. So the opening, I don't know enough to actually comment on the opening, to be honest. I just, like I say always, I make it up as I go along. I make moves that I know work in this system. Whether they're good or not is another question, but I know they work in similar situations. So that's my logic for this opening. They go back to D7. Apparently they push this. And then potentially I'm left with a very awkward d-pawn. Very awkward d-pawn. But then they're also left with a slightly awkward e-pawn. So I don't really know. Apparently, knight c4. I kind of ruled out. I didn't think I was actually threatening anything with this. But I guess maybe you work yourself around. Which sort of makes sense. We go bishop h3. It's just wanting them to keep coming back, because I guess it just does not want its queen blocked in. But king h8, yeah, is a weird one. Like, it's not a bad move because your position's not bad, but it's definitely a waste of a move, in my opinion. We continue developing. b3, you saw my mouse slip there. I don't even know. I didn't remember clicking any buttons, but apparently we did. Kept developing, and definitely allowed f5. I think f5 is a good move. I'm not sure why it's not the best. It's saying b4. But b4, I thought I'd just go c4, and this is relatively locked up, which frees up my sort of kingside attack, which is what I want, really. I guess a4. And you sack a pawn, apparently. Not really, because you win it back straight away. But, yeah, that's actually really interesting. I like that. I like that. I would be tempted to take with the knight as well. Maybe not blunder your knight, but yeah. Queen takes, bishop, no, queen c2 is saying d2. Oh, and then you take with the pawn, which supports the knight. And I actually don't mind this for black at all. It's still, I mean, it's still got loads of play left in it. Maybe my pieces will get that better soon. And we are threatening to maybe take this knight as well. And if we can get the rook in the game as well, that would be nice. So I can see both sides having fun in that. We have to take f5. And then apparently this is the way to play, which looks like it just loses a pawn. For sure. It just looks like it loses a pawn. I mean, that's it, right? That is it. I guess not, because, yeah, I guess not. Yeah. You know, yeah, that's actually relatively safe. And then you're looking for f4. f4, does that not run into... Because then you have takes. What? Oh, with the discovered attack on the rook. Ah. Very clever. Very, very clever. The rook goes back, which seems... That's what I would have played. And we dive straight into d5. The bishop apparently needs to reroute this way, which makes no sense because I think the bishop's relatively happy on this diagonal. So why it's asking to move back, I'm not really sure. Maybe c4 is a viable move here. Apparently completely loses. Apparently completely loses. My thought is that these are going to be big targets, but I guess the benefit of the knight outpost is too much. Plus, I guess you can still trade this knight off at any time. Cool. Cool. We go knight takes, which is the best move. I don't think anything else is nice. It's nice because this comes with a check, so you sort of have to deal with that. Apparently, this is the better way to take. I can believe. You could show me anything and say that's better, and I would believe that. And then we take the bishop. c4 was definitely my plan, but I didn't really like this. I think that looks very strong for black. But like I said, the bishop pair, but it seems like an easy target as well. I guess the bishop could always come back, or even better, go to e6 as well. Which makes sense. I guess you only have the knight to really target the light pawns. Queen takes, yeah, and then we take. And the bishop goes back to contest the f3 square. And this is where I'm not feeling particularly good. The knight comes in. I thought was a really good move. Actually, the computer doesn't appreciate it. It's not horrible. You know, you're still threatening things. But apparently the reply is f4. And I guess the question is, where do you go? Because now we don't have the problem surrounding the g4 square with the pin. Because the queen just covers. So the knight just straight up has to go back. If it goes to g6, it can't go to either of these two squares. Or this square even. So yeah, that's actually really awkward. And it's not scary because your bishop controls the dark squares as well. Really cool. Really cool. We decide to go bishop f4. Similar idea. But unfortunately does walk into this g4 idea. Which I didn't think was particularly scary. The exchange is apparently a way to play it. Which I think I said. Maybe in a slightly different position. But yeah. That's a bit more interesting because there are more open lines. And we don't have the bishop pair, the bishop there defending on f4. So I can see that. I can see that. But bishop, queen d2 is the way to defend. all about this e3 square. It's shifted from f3 to e3, and you just have to be aware of that, I think. Once you see that, it's relatively easy to find queen d2. And we just contest the open file. And go king h3. Apparently a miss. Rook e4. Okay. You don't really want to go d5 because then you're sort of blocking in your queen. You can take for starters and then take the knight, which makes so much sense. Yeah, but we go king h3, just threatening to take. And they go knight e5, which makes sense. I thought knight f6 was valid. At which point takes. Oh, I was thinking bishop takes d6. No, that is a blunder. Oh, because of queen check. Gosh, I'm glad I didn't play that. I'm very glad I didn't play that. Anyway, yeah. Bishop takes is fine. And then f4 we played. Okay, yeah. It wants king g2. Walking straight back into this pin. But I guess you can't really do much because if they push, you can still take because the pawn's staying on this diagonal. They check, which is fine. King h2 just stays off the light squares. Basically, that's all it is. And we were correct to take with the rook there. You can, I think, still get away with this. Oh, but then that was it. It comes with check, which we I think mentioned. So this is the correct way to do it. And you take with the queen, threatening mate if they take. So they can't, and they have to defend somehow. If they did this, you could go into a queen and pawn endgame. I would also consider rook e4. Not really doing much. Apparently you go here. Because if they do this, then you've got some scary threats on g2 with the queen and the rook coming in. So that's a really sneaky move, actually. And you're threatening c2 as well, trying to win the pawn. Yeah, that's a beautiful move, actually. Wow, that's so sneaky. Two massive threats. And you've got to reply to that with g1. So if they decide to check, well, they can't check for starters. They can't check, so they just have to trade off. Wow. Wow. What was that? Queen c6. Really beautiful move. We double up, which seems fine. I would prefer to double up with the rook in front. But also maybe you can consider that the rook needs to be a bit of a defensive tool because you can't defend with the queen. h3 gets rid of the back rank threats. Yep. And then we walk into something very silly. Extremely silly. I mean, this is pretty much drawn. I don't see either way of winning. I mean, rooks versus rooks, pretty drawn. Queen versus queen, pretty drawn. So you put them together, it's most likely going to be a draw. So yeah, unless you go queen f2 and just blunder a discovered check, which I should have seen from 10 moves away, to be honest. But hey, rook c5, I think, was something I was floating around trying to hit the a pawn. I don't think anything actually happens from it, though. Apparently a4 is the way to play it. But I think I was just looking to trade off. Because I think if I can trade everything off and I get my king out here first, I've got decent chances. But they're just not going to trade off, you know. So yeah, that is that. And the rest is just decent technique from them. I think they could have been a bit tighter. I think this is a good move. But yeah, I mean, every move is going to be good in this situation. As long as you're not blundering your queen, I think every move is going to be good in this situation. Anyway, that was a bit of a longer video. Let me know how you think. I'm definitely preferring playing the games with increment. It's a lot less stressful. I think I can get my points across a lot better and commentate better as well. So let me know what you think about them. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.